Welcome to the Hoof and Fang podcast. I'm Kirt Maz.
And I'm Maz Maddox.
How's your week going?
Pretty good. Last week sucked. This week, nice and chill.
All right.
Yeah, it's no complaints.
We like that evolution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because last week was crazy. You were out of town. Work was nuts. I hated it. So now that big project is out of the way, I can just go back to the normal cadence.
Okay.
And I think I might actually surpass that. Like I might get not only caught up, but get ahead a little bit.
Ooh.
So I'm like, ooh, and I'm not telling anyone that. I'm like,
No.
yeah. So I'm hoping to get caught up because then I can go back into my normal cadence on like when I work from home Thursdays and Fridays. I usually use that time to like get a little bit of gaming in or like I clean up the apartment and stuff like that. I haven't been able to do that for like 2 or 3 weeks because it's just been crazy.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm excited. So
good.
Yeah. It's been pretty chill. Other than work being shitty, I did find out last week that a voice actor that I super love from video games is going to be at the Chicago Fan Expo in August.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I was really excited. And I was like, you know what? I've never been. I'll go and get an autograph and do the whole thing. Kicking the asses. It's the same weekend as an author event I've already signed up for in Milwaukee. So,
well, they're not that far.
Exactly. I was like, okay, this is doable. So I have this whole plan where I'm going to drive out a day early, check in Milwaukee, stay the night, take the train to Chicago, do that, take the train back, sleep, do my event, and then go home. So
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm like, this worked out. This is a weird kismet kind of thing. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm not spreading myself too thin. So like Saturday, I'm not like, I know. Well, it's a lot of travel and a lot of excitement, and that just drains me because I always get super jazzed when I do events like this. And Meet Me in Milwaukee is one of my favorites because it's small and I've made friends with a lot of the regular authors now that go.
Sure.
So I know it's going to be 2 solid days of just 100% dialed in excitement. So I'm worried by Sunday I'm just going to be in a coma.
I think the train time will allow you to
kind of decompress,
introvert.
Yeah. Okay.
And then especially if you're alone in the hotel.
I think Alex is going. So
you got to tell him not.
Yeah. He's going to have to be the balance.
Yeah.
Like go get me snacks, maybe lead the way back to the train because I'm going to be so tired.
Do not add to the excitement in any way, shape, or form.
Be like water.
Yes.
So yeah, that's hoping. So my August got way more exciting. And then they started announcing more of the authors for Queers and Quills, and a bunch of my friends are going. So it's like an even more bust GRL roster. Like there's a couple friends of mine that are going, and also C.S. Picot is going, which is an Australian author who never comes to America, and her books are like some of my favorites. So I'm like fangirling super hard about it. So yeah, it's 2025 in May. So like around my birthday is going to be so cool. Yeah. I'm so jazzed.
Well, very cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I got a little bit of writing done, but like that, most of my exciting stuff is like the trips I'm going to be taking.
They're all materializing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of trips taken,
I was going to say,
I just got back. Had a great time in New York.
Excellent.
Did not miss being here.
No, I know.
One tiny little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode, how this was going to be you returning back into the office, and I'm glad to hear it.
I'm actually okay with coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like most good vacations, by the end of the vacation, I was like, I'm ready to go home.
Good.
It was a jam-packed weekend. Between the two of us, we saw 10 shows. I personally saw 8 over 5 days.
Yeah.
So I really jammed them in. But after staying in Times Square, which is another like thing I don't love to do because there's so many people, it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm ready to get out of the city. I'm ready to get back to the boys, the dogs, and sleep in my own bed and just kind of try to find some semblance of normal before our next trip, which is in like 2 weeks. We're doing a weekend with friends, and then we're doing John's graduation in Arizona.
Wow. Yeah.
And then we're going to Portland in June, and then we're going to my nephew's wedding in July.
It's so this was like your vacation before all of the like crazy travel. This was a nice
and
decompress.
then I'm going on that cruise in August.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of traveling over the next few months. So, and this was just the beginning.
Yeah,
So,
man, that is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, again, it was a great trip. It was a good time. It's fun to like go and just like pretend that that's your life for a little while. But like, I'm a Wisconsin boy.
So like to get away from the craziness.
Yeah, smaller town, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I could live I've never existed in a city that large. Like I grew up in Arlington, which is big, and I was used to going to Dallas, which is big. But New York is insane. I mean, I've only been once when I was like 17, and it was so much. Well, so I can't imagine.
Especially the touristy part. Yeah. Which that's where all the Broadway theaters are. So it's where we end up spending a lot of time, even if we're not staying in Times Square, which we were this time. Like you're going into Times Square and like fighting with the people. And it was, I think, a lot of people's spring breaks. Oh, still. Okay. So it was very busy. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's a fun place to visit. It's fun to pretend like, yes, this is my life for a little while, but then it's like, no, let's go.
That's totally fair.
Let's go back home and maybe go to a bar where drinks don't cost $20 for a beer.
Yeah, no shit. My God.
So it's one of those. Yeah. So we have some announcements to make. Well, we have really like an announcement to make. So we have our next audiobook coming up. It's going to be the first that we are doing in our new serialized fashion.
Indeed.
And so we are going to be releasing, drumroll please, Only Skin Deep by Keelix, an MMM urban fantasy romance.
Love it.
Yes. So, welcome to the world of Enchanted Ink, which I'm assuming is the whole series is called Enchanted Ink.
I believe so, yeah.
It's capitalized, so that's what makes sense. So the premise is that for a price, master tattooists can place a beautiful spell directly onto your skin. Yay, magic.
Yeah, we love that. And magical tattoos is so cool.
It's a romance between like an established couple and then a third person who comes into it.
Ooh, fun.
We haven't done that here on the
that's cool.
Hoof and Fang before.
It's a twist.
It's a twist. So yes, that is coming up. The first episode will go live April 30th. I've decided we're releasing them on Tuesdays.
Cool.
Just in case I have to record them on Monday.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I was like, oh, maybe if we could do them like Fridays, like we do I was like, no, we're already releasing an episode on Friday.
Yeah, like, that's fair.
Let's do Monday. And then I was like, no, not Monday.
Yeah, because then you'd have to knock it out like over the weekend.
Yeah, I was like, so
who needs that?
Tuesdays it is.
Perfect.
Tuesdays, beginning April 30th. And then every week thereafter, you'll get another episode of that book until we are finished with it.
Yeah. And then we'll have a complete audiobook that is still available. So if you don't catch all the episodes, you can still get a traditional book funnel audiobook at the end, like once we wrap everything up. So.
Exactly. If you have any more questions about how that's going to work, we did a whole episode about it a few episodes ago, so go check that out.
Yeah, I think it's episode 30, if I'm not crazy.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's right. I looked at it recently, so I'm pretty sure it's 30.
I was going to say, it's in the description.
Yeah, there you go. You can find
Read the description for what we're talking about. But yeah, so we're going to be trying something new and releasing those episodically, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is cool.
Yeah. So because I have vacation on the brain.
Right.
I thought we could talk about our dream vacation destinations.
Okay, I'm down.
So I have a few in mind that are like from the real world, but then also if we want to talk about some that are like from a book or a movie that we really love, that would also be fine.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So do you want to go first?
Sure. So I've got, to be honest, I haven't been able to travel nearly as much as I want to. I've only been out of the country twice. I went to Canada and I went to Belize. But other than that, I've been kind of stuck in the like south of the United States. Like I haven't really been able to go, like I said, I went to New York one time when I was 17, but really I haven't been able to explore that region of the country at all. But why not leave the US if I was going to go? Right. So if I was going to travel, I think one of my first bucket list places would be Japan, just because I've always been in love with Japan ever since I was a kid. I was an anime kid and stuff. Right. Plus my best friend lives there. So I get to live a little vicariously through her with all of the cool natural hot springs that you can just find in Japan and go sit in and enjoy. Like it's ridiculous. So yeah, cool historical sites, going to see Mount Fuji, natural hot springs, going to Tokyo and seeing like the Nintendo store and the Pokemon store and the giant Gundam statue and just all of the like super nerdy shit that I would just absolutely love. And then of course food, like every destination I'd want to go to, I just want to pig out and just eat.
I mean, that's what you do when you're on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that would be my first. Like if somebody was like, here's a blank check, you can go wherever and have a great time, I would go to Japan first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My first pick is going to be Australia
Ooh.
and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because I want to get to that side of the world because of the work that I do and connecting with readers. I have friends there now. That like, I always like to travel and knowing that like there's somebody on the other end.
Yeah, that's a big one.
In New York, it was fun to be able to connect with my friends from here who have moved there, as well as a bunch of narrators who live there. It's just great to know that like I'm going like to be able to send somebody a message and saying, I'm coming to visit.
Yeah.
So we have people there that I know now because of this work, people who like have been to the US. And so I've met them at conventions, but like now I would get to go to their turf. So Australia and New Zealand, high on the list. And also, Australia's ginormous.
Yeah.
So we'd have to pick and choose where we actually stopped. Cause I think you basically have to take a plane between cities.
Yeah. I didn't like know that. And I feel like such an ass. Cause of course I don't know that, but yeah, it's crazy that if you are traveling in Australia, you have to take a plane to get to a different city. Yeah, it's nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So we'd have to plan that out because I would like to see the Northern Territories as well as the Southern shoreline.
Yeah.
And then hop over to the New Zealand islands as well.
That'd be so cool.
And check stuff out. So
yeah. Australia is definitely like top 5 for me. I would 100% go.
And I would definitely like to go during our winter, which is their summer.
Yeah. Yeah. They get away from the cold.
Get the hell out of winter and go somewhere where it's summer, because strangely on the other side of the same planet, the weather's different.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. Science.
Science.
All right. What's your other pick?
Number 2 would be Egypt, just because it's one of those soul deep things. I want to see the pyramids at some point in my life. Like I have to make it out there, see the pyramids, see the Sphinx, go to the museums out there and just be immersed in Egyptology for a little while, even if it can never be really a part of my life in any professional settings. Like I want to go and be a tourist and just see everything. It's really take that in. And of course, just eat my weight in just amazing food because holy shit. But yeah, that's definitely number 2 on my, if I could go anywhere, it would be Egypt, like unequivocally. Because I was so much that kid. Like I loved mummies and the mythology and the history and it'd just be amazing.
Well, maybe we can fly there together. Because my second pick is, and I'm cheating a little bit, I'm just saying the Mediterranean. Hey,
there you go. I almost said Europe and I was like, that's too broad.
Yeah, that's too broad. But like,
give me a break.
Like Italy and Greece specifically, I would love to get to either or both of those countries in a trip or multiple trips.
Yeah.
Mostly for the food, but also for the history,
for sure.
And Italy, especially, I grew up Catholic, so like there's enough respect and admiration for the Catholic Church still left in me that like I think going to Vatican City would be like just so interesting. Yeah, with the adult perspective I have now on the church, I would love to see what that's about. And then you're in Rome, so you're seeing a bunch of really interesting historical sites. Right. And food. Yeah. And food. Yeah. And chilling on the Mediterranean on a nice sunny day sounds like a great way to spend some time.
No shit. Frankly. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, well, number 3 is Rome for me, so that worked out great. Yeah, so that's our vacation. Segway. Yeah, that will. If we ever get to travel together, let's just go there because that sounds perfect. Because I'm in the same boat. Like I want to be able to walk around in history, and that is the place for that. Like just everything, you're just immersed in it as soon as you get there. So in food. Food. Just we would eat tons and look at beautiful architecture, and it would be the dream. Yeah. I love it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
I would round off our European trip with a stop at London. Ooh. Because I mean, the main reason we go to New York City is for theater. We're theater people. Yeah. And the other major theater location in the world is London. Yeah. It's the West End. So at some point in my life, I would like to get to the West End and see some shows there. And then explore the rest of the city, of course. Oh, but the reason I'd be going would be because of my love of theater and wanting to see that come to life in a different place. I think they have a very different aesthetic. Yeah. And like there are shows that are very popular there that never make it over here.
I believe that.
So it'd be interesting to see something that like you could really only see over there.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be neat.
Yeah.
Well, if we ever get a chance to just globetrot like that, right? That'd be so
much fun.
Yeah, it really would.
Yeah. Are there any fantastical or fictional places that you would love to go to?
I got a couple, and I was trying to be realistic because I was like,
why?
Well, I'm trying to think if I got transported to the Elder Scrolls universe, I would die immediately. I would get off the plane and a dragon would eat me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, I wouldn't go there. But if I was,
it probably wouldn't wait till you were off the plane.
Probably not.
Take that sucker down.
Yeah,
right
exactly. Like I didn't want to travel anywhere where it would be interesting, but there's so much danger in in that realm that it would just take me out immediately. Mm-hmm. But so I think a good low key vacation destination would definitely be the setting of Legends and Lattes. We can hang out. It's fantasy, right? So you're surrounded by gnomes and orcs and elves, but you can just chill at a cafe, have a scone and a nice cup of coffee, and then you can walk around and like go shopping in the little bazaar, and nothing's going to kill you immediately.
Not immediately.
I think it would ramp up to that, but this is a cozy atmosphere, so we could go visit and be like, oh, we're just passing humans. This is normal. Like that would be my one fun, low key, probably not going to die destination place.
Probably not
going to die. Yeah. Do you have one picked out?
I really don't.
No?
I was trying to think like about that question in particular, and I was like, most of the fantasy stuff that I grew up with and love, like even though it's an alternative version of Earth, like it's mostly just happening in parts of the world that I like, or that I already live in. Like X-Men is set in an alternative universe, but it's still like New York.
Right. Yeah.
Same for like the Dresden Files. It's just an alternative Chicago. So yeah, I guess I was realizing as I was going through this in my head that like, I guess I don't really have like loves from my childhood that were taking place in like other fantastical places.
That's fair.
Well, maybe like A Wrinkle in Time was my favorite book as a kid. But I wouldn't want to go to that place because it was wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it sounds fun, but I'm pretty sure I'm not equipped to handle the dangers there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple I had to scratch off the list, but I had the Legends and Lattes, Hyrule from the Legend of Zelda. That would probably kill me, but I think I could probably live there for a couple days. Okay. And then there's an anime called Delicious in Dungeon, which the whole premise of it is that it's like a D&D kind of thing where they're going through dungeons and killing monsters. But then they eat the monsters. So they find ridiculous ways to cook these various little beasties, and like they'll make like dragon steak and stuff like that. And the way that they do it is very much kind of like Studio Ghibli, where they make everything just look ridiculously delicious. Like all of the food is like juicy and marinated and sizzling. I was like, I would go visit if somebody opened up like a cafe,
right?
You know, like who's maybe outside the dungeon, so I can go try the dragon steak and be like, "This is interesting." I'm going to go home before something kills me.
Yeah,
but yeah, that would be, since I knew we were going to be talking about food. I was like, we'd go here. Like if we could go there and not get murdered, we would go try the various different mythological foods.
Sure.
It would be so cool.
Sure. Hey, I'd love to go to the pie shop from Pushing Daisies.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. That's a fictional place.
Yeah.
Although, again, I think it's set in like sort of the real world.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I even thought about like the tea shop in Under the Whispering Door. But I was like, but then I have to be kind of dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, so no, thank you.
No.
And also they don't let you bring your phone. Which I know is like a charming little detail that when DJ wrote it, he probably thought was great. And I was like, I don't want to go somewhere without my phone. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, I had a tea place back in Fort Worth that I loved so much, right? And they carried my books. I got to do like panels there. They had loose leaf tea of all kinds. And it was this cozy little perfect independent bookstore / tea shop. They did not allow Wi-Fi or like computers or anything. So I was like, well, I can't even come here and work now. Right. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can only pop in and get a cup of tea and then leave. Because I'm just going to sit there? Like,
I mean, you could bring a book.
No, I want to work on my book.
Well, that's true.
Like, this is the perfect vibe for it. I can read at home. So, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Not to get off on a tangent there, but I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me? This could be my spot.
I mean, I can be quiet on a device.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to scream at the computer.
I'm not going to take a call.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested to hear what our listeners have to say. Yeah. Do you have any dream vacation destinations that you haven't yet been to? Or maybe some dream vacations that you had the chance to take?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Those too. So any places we didn't mention that you're like, oh, you need to go there. There's so many. There's so many places around the world that would be worth the visit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As long as you just got to be in the know.
Yeah.
And then have the desire and the income to go.
Yeah. Or if they're there, like that can give us a reason to go.
Hey, yeah. Invite us around. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let us know about that. I just wanted to draw our listeners' attention to another podcast. Mm-hmm. So JP Reinflesh the 9th, who was on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned that he is involved with a podcast called The Dialogue Doctor, and he interviewed me for that, and that episode is now out, so you can search for The Dialogue Doctor wherever you get your podcasts, and you can listen to JP and me chatting some more.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's out in the world. And then don't forget to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Although not very active on some of those. But if more people follow us, we will be.
Yeah.
And you can also find us on Patreon by searching Hoof and Fang. The more subscribers we have, the more content we will create. So please help us spread the word. Mm-hmm. And just a reminder, if you join at the $10 level, you can start getting only skin deep. Starting next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's coming 30th. Up fast.
Yeah, so we know this is a short episode. We don't have an interview for today, but also I just got back from vacation, so
yeah. So show us some grace.
We're calling it quits early. Yes. But we will be back next week to chat more with you guys. We hope you are having a great week.
Mm-hmm. See you then.